Let's start in a Supta Baddha Konasana, as cozy as you can make it. So depending on your energy level and your space, it may not be, but I'm gonna grab a bolster and a block. I'm gonna place the block down on the mat, and I'm gonna put the bolster over top of it. You can also do this with a book or a couple of pillows. I'm gonna grab a couple more pillows, bring down here. Got something for my head. And of course, so we're going to start with a supported heart and hip opener. So if you feel like you need to stand up and shake out or do anything first, you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, when you're ready, the idea here is that we bring the soles of the feet together. And I would recommend you put pillows or blankets under the thighs so that the hips can be supported. And then we're going to roll back over our bolsters, our pillows, whatever we have. And just make sure the body is symmetrical, supported. Draw the shoulders on the back. The closer the heels are to the pelvis, the more we're going to get into the hips here. Roll the shoulders down. The palms can be open, or you can kind of rest your hands sort of at your sides if you want to be less open. But this is intended to be a receptive pose. So opening the heart, opening the belly, helping to sort of bring the spine back into balance from possibly rounding all day over devices or cars or any, whatever we're doing. So any wiggling, any shifting you need to do, and then we're going to let go here. So when you feel like the body seems as comfortable as it can be, I want you to take a big breath in through your nose and then let it out your mouth. And as you let it out the mouth, see if you can let your body go a little bit more. And sometimes it can be helpful to do like a muscle tense and release. So as you inhale, you can squeeze your hands and your feet and your belly or any part of the body that it feels comfortable to squeeze, your face, your fists. And then as you exhale, let the muscles go. So we get even more release, right? So sometimes if I feel like I'm carrying a lot of tension and when I just exhale, it feels like it's not letting go. Sometimes that muscle release is really good. So you squeeze and squeeze, and then you just let go, let go. And so the intention here is to let go as much as we can for right now. And, there may be tension, there may be thoughts, there may be things that, aren't quite ready to release, and that's okay. We can't force. But as much as you can you let go of physical tension, of mental tension, of emotional strain, spiritual strain? Can you allow yourself to melt into the earth? We are coming off a earth full moon. But today, both the moon and the sun are in water elements. We're in the waning cycle of the moon now, so between the full moon and the new moon. This is the exhale. So when you feel like you've had the body release as much as you can, let your attention move to the exhale. And without effort, can you just start to emphasize and lengthen the exhale? The exhale, like the waning moon, is where we start to let go, release, cleanse, digest, reflect. This is where the moon appears to hide her face, as the Lakota tradition says during this cycle, where the moon comes out later and later, so we don't see her in the night sky. And this is a time where we can turn in for our own deep rest and release. This is where we empty out before we begin the new cycle on the new moon. In the next couple of days, we'll have the March equinox, which is the entry of spring in the northern hemisphere and the entry of fall in the southern. But it is one of 2 days where we have the balance of light and dark, equal light, equal dark. And then we shift to one side of the planet having more light and one less. And so there is this desire for equanimity, there is this desire for balance, but for today, technically, we are still in the waning moon and the longer nights, right? We're in the last couple of days of winter. So let's allow ourselves to immerse in that melting and dissolving of winter, that melting and dissolving of this full moon eclipse, which is all about releasing the old stories. Can we allow the waters of both the sun and the moon to cleanse and release and clarify, so that as we start to move towards the equinox, as we start to move towards the new moon, we can have this sense of renewal, this sense of stepping back into the light, because we have dissolved into the dark, into the waters. And so for these next few moments, let yourself be with the exhale, particularly if the mind is active. Just focus on the exhale. Continue to invite that sense of release. The more we can release, the more we can let go, the more potential we have into this incoming cycle. The next new moon also has an eclipse, and solar eclipses are about new beginnings. So we want to really honor what is releasing right now, so that we have this space to draw in the new, the potential. The waning moon is just as important as the waxing moon. The exhale is just as important as the inhale. And the equinox, right, invites us to balance those things. But first, we have these couple of days where we are still deeply exhaling into the dark, into the water, letting go. You could let anything go right now, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Just let it go. Let it dissolve into the sea, into the rivers, into the lakes, into the rain. What would that be? If there were no limits, or, no limitations, right? Would it be thoughts? Would it be feelings? Would it be perceptions? Would it be something physical in the material world? You could let go of anything in your life right now, what would it be? It doesn't matter how unrealistic that is. Could you imagine it just dissolving into the waters, into the dark? These exhales, imagine letting go of anything. No good, bad, right, wrong. This is between no one but you and your yoga props and your breath. You could let go of anything. Just imagine it with the exhale, dissolving out. You can even see it releasing out your feet into the waters. If you're not sure, you could just imagine every exhale hearing the words, let go. And you can stay here as long as you want. I've known people who just stay in this pose the entire class, and that is completely fine with me. Otherwise, you can take a big breath in, big belly breath in. And exhale it out the mouth. Slowly just start to stretch out. You might extend your legs, or if you bend your knees, you can roll them out, rock the hips a little bit. You can reach your arms overhead or turn your head side to side. So you can start to bring in a little stretching, a little movement, or you can still stay very still. And depending on how you're set up on your props, you might roll to one side, or you can just round yourself up. Oh. Bring yourself to a comfortable seat when you're ready. Up on the sit bones or sitting comfortably in a chair, whatever works for you. Just find that comfortable seat. Arrive here now. Hand to heart, hand to belly, gentle rock. Maybe a couple sighs or hums. And then we'll tone our lunar mantra when we're ready. We are invoking the wisdom, the release of this waning moon. Om Chandraya Namaha. And you can just listen or hum or join in. Om Chandraya Namaha. Let your hands slide to your knees, your shins, and take it into some circles. A transition I always like. Moving from a little rock, a little sound, into some spinal spirals. Close your eyes. Stay with your exhale. Let go, let go, let go. I always reflect on one of my longtime spiritual mentors saying that, nothing she ever let go of didn't have, claw marks in it, right? Some of us have an easier time than others letting anything go. Could be, old letters or pictures or things people say, right? Some of us, we hold on to different things in different ways. Some of us hold on to a lot. But when we follow these cycles, we get the opportunity to just play, right? Play and practice. Like, okay, what if I could let go of whatever I wanted? Maybe we haven't ever thought about that because it didn't seem possible. And sometimes if the energy is right, if the universe is aligned, sometimes, it just takes beginning to think about it. And that's a lot of what the equinox, the new moon, the solstice, those are all seed points on the calendar, the calendar of the year of the earth. Reverse the direction. It's important where we can plant seeds and they have a lot of potency. So we're coming up on, again, an equinox and a new moon with an eclipse. So some potential renewal there. But first, let's make space. And that's an important teaching of the moon. And most of you have heard me say this many, many times over the last many, many years, right? This is part of the Lakota indigenous teaching that the moon teaches us quality of life, because when she's empty, she fills. When she is full, she empties. She knows when enough is enough. And that is quality of life. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? So again, when we're full, we have to empty. We just had a full moon eclipse. We are all very full of something, right? Or different things. It is time to empty. As you start to come forward, if it's comfortable for you, walk your hands out for a little bit of a hip or a back stretch here. If that doesn't feel good, you can just continue to open the spine, maybe through some cat-cow or gentle rocking. I'm in a Sukhasana position here, which is a hip opener. So sitting cross-legged, folding forward. Breathing into the hips and into the back. You can wiggle your toes a little bit, shake out your head. You're always welcome to grab blocks or pillows. Stay with the exhale, maybe making it longer when we get into these hip opening poses. Lengthen the spine and just walk over to the right. Stretch through the side body, still in the hips, just a little stretch to the right. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, walk forward, spine long. Exhale, walk to the left. Oh, stretch, breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, walk forward. Exhale, fold a little bit more. Let go a little bit more. And then inhale, round yourself up into a cat pose. Tuck the chin, arch back, stretch back. And then lengthen up, switch the cross of the legs if you're sitting cross-legged. Otherwise, just make sure your seat is still comfortable. And up on the sit bones, lengthen the spine, lift up, and just roll your shoulders one way. Smoothing that water energy through the shoulders. Again, very commonplace. We have tension. Reverse the direction. Let them go. And then move into some gentle half moon circles with the head and the neck. Keep the shoulders down the back. Just again, very commonplace. There's tension, so stay gentle here. Just going as far as it feels good. Slowly draw the chin down to the chest. And then inhale, lift up through the spine, open the heart, exhale again, walk it forward. Just feeling into that other hip. And again, you can, stay with the shoulder rolls or the head rolls if those are feeling good for you. If for whatever reason it's not comfortable in the forward fold, in the hip opener, or come back into spinal movement. Otherwise, feeling into the exhale. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, walk it over to the left again into that side stretch. And deep breath in and out. Inhale, walk back up through center. Exhale to the right. Lengthen here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen, walk forward. Exhale, fold in a little bit more. Let go a little bit more. Slow roll coming into that cat stretch as you tuck the chin, stretch back, round back. And bring it back up. Stretch your legs out long, give them a little shake, rock them out a little bit. Get a little release there. And then go ahead and bring yourself up to stance. Take your time, move things around. I'm gonna go turn on a little light. It was so bright when class first started. You're not quite in spring yet. And just find yourself at the top of the mat or wherever it's comfortable for you on your mat. Feet, I don't know, shoulder distance, toes forward, knees soft, mountain pose, just feeling your body here on the earth, between the earth and the sky. Standing tall, lengthen through the crown, root through your heels, draw the belly in. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold, soft knees, and pause here for a couple breaths. You can grab blocks or fold over a chair, bed, or just let yourself dangle and rock. You can bend your knees, rock around, alternate lifting your heels. Just letting go here into your Uttanasana. If downward dog is part of your practice and you prefer to step back to a down dog, this would be a good time for that. Otherwise, a few more breaths, just stretching out. Shake out the head, nod. You can even gently pull on your hair or your ponytail. Just again, how much can you let go here? Let go of tension, let go of stress. Maybe roll your feet in and out a little bit, shifting from the big toe side to the pinky side. And the mutable water sign that we've been in this month is rules the feet and the lymph. So rolling your feet around. And then inhale, lengthen up halfway, lift up through the spine. Exhale, fold. Soft knees, inhale, sweep the arms wide, reach up, big stretch. Exhale, hands to heart. A couple little half sun salutes, a little bit quicker. Inhale, reach up, but big exhale as you fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, long exhale as you fold in. Inhale, reach the arms wide, stretch. Slow exhale to bring hands to heart. One more time. Inhale, gather up. Big breath out as you fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale even more, completely empty out. And then inhale, reach it up. And exhale, slow, hands to heart. Pause for a minute. Again, feel your feet on the earth, your crown towards the sky. And then widen your feet as wide as the mat. Turn your toes out. Inhale, reach the arms up. This time as you exhale, bend the knees into a squat. So that might look like you're coming an inch or two down. That might look like you're coming all the way down, somewhere in between. You can also stack blocks up under your bottom, or you can put blocks in front of you. And as you come forward, the hands can come down first. So sometimes that can be really helpful for the knees if the hands kind of press down and then lift up. Otherwise, you can be coming down through your malasana as much as it's comfortable for you. And if this is too much, then just go back to the half sun salutes, okay? And stay working that uttanasana. But again, exhale. Really get into that squat. And it doesn't have to be a big squat. Let it flow. Let it go. And you can adjust, you can make it your legs wider, closer, depending on your stability. And if it is comfortable for you to come down into a squat and hold, you can do that, and you can sit on blocks. Otherwise, you can keep flowing, or you can do that uttanasana or a downward dog as well. Lift the chest, soften the face. Take a few good breaths, long exhales, really empty out on the exhale. Inhale. Exhale, shift forward. And if you're comfortable coming to all fours, you can come to all fours. Otherwise, come back to standing forward fold. And I'm going to give you the option to either come into lizard or half happy baby. So lizard pose looks like bringing the right foot up into a lunge, but it's a wide lunge. So your right foot is at the kind of the right edge of the mat. Both hands are inside. They can be on blocks. You can also put support under your back knee. If this is not comfortable for you or appropriate for your joints, you can also do it on a bed or a chair. So we've done that where you've got the right foot up and then you lunge forward that way. Or if the lunges in general don't work for you, if you're on your back, left knee bent, you would draw the right knee in towards the armpit and then hold the right foot or the hamstrings. Otherwise, lizard pose. Right toes can turn out slightly. You can even lift up the big toe side of the foot. You can rock here, but I want that exhale to be the focus. So if you're in such a deep lizard that you can't get a good breath, then come out of it, right? The breath is more important. Big exhale. There are some ways to play here. You can add a little twist, the left hand under the left shoulder, right hand to the right thigh, and you can rock a little bit, roll, twist open. You can also intensify it by drawing the back heel in. And then with one hand, left or the right, you can hold that and get into the quad as well as the hip. A lot of times there's a lot of energy in the quadricep that we can release. Or just find a place that, you can just get into the hip. Big breath in wherever you are. Exhale it out. See if you can let go a little bit more wherever you are. And then slowly start to transition. So you can, if you're in lizard, you can come into an Ardha Hanumanasana. You can come back into a child's pose or down dog or flow. If you're in half happy baby, you can hug your knees in. Do anything that feels good on your back. Always good to give ourselves a moment though in these asymmetrical hip openers. And then when you're ready, we'll come into side two. So you could do lizard on one side and then half happy baby on the other. I usually say that these poses have a very similar function. So it really just is about comfort and accessibility. So, you know, or the opposite on the right, yeah, on the right side, a lizard felt good. You get to the left side and you're like, no way, right? So then you can come onto the back, or you can use the chair or the bed, and you can play around with variations. If you did something though, like if you did the quad stretch or like a twist or something on the other side, you at least want to kind of try that for a moment. But you know, we're not really in any of these long enough that if it's not exactly the same, it's going to be a thing. Our body sides are very different. So it's okay if it is not the same. Just exhale, just let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. Big breath in. Exhale, exhale, exhale completely out. And then just see if you can let go, let go, let go. A little bit more. And then again, take your time to come out. Each side is different. You might do something different in the transition. Maybe one side wants a little more movement, the other side wants more rest. You can cat cow, down dog. If you're on your back, you can do little windshield wipers with the knees. Okay, so this next pose is a tradition when the moon is in Scorpio. I did not do it the last time the moon was in Scorpio, so I'm gonna do it tonight. So it's optional, which is frog prep pose. So if you don't want to do frog, then you can do a couple things. You can do full happy baby, you can do wide legs, you can even just do bound angle. Again, we're still getting sort of a similar part of the hips. We're getting a symmetrical heart opener. Get happy baby, basically the same function. Or for frog, we come up to all fours. You want to be able to open the knees as wide as you can. So it's usually better to turn on your mat. so that you can take your knees as wide as you possibly can. And then you turn your feet so the big toe side is down, right? So that looks like frog legs. And the pelvis is going straight back. So it's not tucking under and it's not sticking up, right? So it's not like cat or cow. It's straight back. And then you lower to the forearms, or this is a great place to grab props. So very intense hip opener, our frog pose. Because, and again, I don't know that I've told this story in a while, though I know a lot of you have heard it. I always think of that for the Scorpio moon, not only because this is a very intense pose and Scorpio is a very intense water sign, but there's the story of the frog and the scorpion, right? So frog pose, scorpion moon. And the story goes that the scorpion comes across this pond. And obviously it's a scorpion, it can't swim. So it sees a frog and it's like, hey, frog, like, can I get a ride across this pond? And the frog's like, are you kidding? Like, why would I do that? You're a scorpion, you know? And the scorpion's like, well, obviously I'm not going to sting you because we both drown. And the frog's like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. So scorpion gets on the frog's back and they're having a good old time. They get about halfway into the pond and all of a sudden scorpion stings the frog. And as they're both drowning, the frog is like, why would you do that? And the scorpion looks at the frog in perfect innocence and is like, I don't know, I'm a scorpion. The moral of the story being, of course, that, you know, sometimes it's hard to defeat nature, right? A scorpion typically stings, even if it doesn't necessarily want to, right? So the Scorpio moon and coming out of the eclipse energy is sometimes things are revealed to us that we haven't wanted to believe about ourselves, about others. There's a lot of other energies happening right now that, you know, perceptions, belief systems, things might be being challenged. And you know, there's not a bad guy in this story. The scorpion isn't the bad guy. You know, the frog isn't, it's not about that all the time. It's not about right or wrong or good or bad. And that's very easy that we want to look for light and dark, right? But there's shades of both. And depending on where you are, where you're sitting, right? You know, it might be easier to, you know, point fingers at anybody in the story. But really, the story is just about knowing yourself and trusting your intuition. If you're like, that looks like a scorpion, probably don't let it ride across the lake with me. Take a big breath in. Exhale out completely. Let go a little bit more. Let go, let go, let go, let go. If you've managed to stay in frog pose for my entire story, you can either bring your toes in for a child's pose or just kind of army crawl out onto your belly. If you are in any other position, you can roll onto your back. Sometimes it can be nice from frog pose to roll out onto the belly and either come into Sphinx or a cobra pose. Press down through the hips, lift the chest. If you're on your back, you could do a bridge pose. Stretch out your hip flexors that way. And then you can come into a child's pose or down dog, or if you're on your back, you can hug your knees in. And just feel into if there's anything else the body needs to release. I do want us to have a good solid, I don't know, eight or 9 minutes in legs up the wall here. So although if your body feels like it's got more to release, you want more forward fold, you want to take a deep twist, something like that, you can. Otherwise, when you're ready, you can move yourself to your Shavasana, your meditation. I would recommend legs up the wall, get an inversion in, but also nice for the fluid body to settle. Cover your eyes if you can. embracing the dark, supporting melatonin production. And if you want, before you do the legs of the wall, you can give yourself a little shake, do our little jitterbug. And again, that same idea from the beginning, like release the body. So sometimes doing that kind of little jitterbug, and then when we release it, we really feel that release, right? So what can you do that for the next 8 minutes, you can let go more than you have all day, all week, all month, all season? Can you imagine, right, your body just melting, dissolving into the earth, into the waters, the moon now waning between eclipses, couple of days before equinox, these last waters of the winter under the waning moon, inviting this deep release, this deep letting go, so that we can create space for what it is we want to bring in, what we want to be renewed, what we want to spark. We're shifting from a water cycle to a fire cycle. And so we want to allow the waters to cleanse and nourish and release, so that we can really have this fresh light. So again, can you go into that exhale? Can you let it get longer and longer? That release even deeper and deeper. Again, maybe you imagine with each exhale something melting away, something dissolving, something letting go, tangible or intangible. Just see it dissolving out through the feet into the waters. Or maybe just that simple let go with each exhale. Or maybe the body is able to just go into a deep rest, effortless, effortless release. Like the rains washing away. Let go, let go, let go. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhi swaha. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhi swaha. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhi swaha. Gone, gone, gone beyond, really gone beyond into wisdom. You are welcome to linger here as long as you like. You can start to deepen the breath. Just take the next few breaths to really allow that exhale out the mouth, completely letting the breath move out. And then you can start to bring movement back if that feels good, or you can just hug your knees in, rock a little side to side, maybe rolling into a fetal pose and resting there, that promise of rebirth and renewal that comes every new moon, every change of the season. And take your time. If you'd like, you can join me at a seated position to seal the practice. And with a hand to heart and a hand to belly, toning the sound of Om or any seed sound that is sacred to you. First Om is for yourself. Second Om is an offering to our loved ones and to those suffering. And that final Om we offer in gratitude to our Mother Earth, our Grandmother Moon. You can listen, you can hum, or join in with me. Draw your hands to heart, rub the palms, take a breath in. Exhale, left hand to the left, palm is up, right hand to the right, palm down, like we're sitting in a virtual moon circle, hand in hand, taking one final shared breath. Big, big inhale, lift up, hold, exhale, out the mouth, hands to the earth, and we bow. Om Chandraya Namaha. Many blessings for your week, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.